viewers, welcome to Chungu cha Jamii. I'm your host, Eunice Mugo. It's a new year, 2023. Happy New Year, everyone. Welcome back to our show. Today, we are going to talk about New Year's resolution. On the show, I have a guest who's going to help us understand why do we need New Year's resolution? Why do we have to plan it? Why should we keep what you have listed as resolution for us to follow throughout the year? Is it possible to maintain it? What are the challenges? What are the consequences of not following such and such things? I'll allow our guest to introduce herself. Welcome, guest.
Okay, thank you for having me. Happy New Year. It's another year that we have come. No, I'm not very new, but let me introduce myself. My name is Pastor Pearl Blessing. I have another new name, Neshipae.
A nice name.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I went to visit the Maasai over Christmas, and they baptized me with their name.
Okay.
And it's an honor. It's an honor because it was done by people who have age. That's a great honor. So yeah, I'm a motivational speaker. I'm a pastor. I do a lot of things, and my program is called Star with Pearl. My message is to stir you up. So we are here to stir you up, to look at your resolutions for the year, how you can do them, and that's why we are here today.
Welcome to the show, Pastor Pearl Blessing.
Thank you.
It's always a great privilege to have you. Your insights, your words, they're impactful.
Amen.
To the viewers and everyone listening.
Yeah.
So we are talking about New Year's resolution. Could you help us understand what are resolution? People don't understand resolution. Okay, people know kuna New Year's resolution, but do not understand the meaning of resolution in itself. Okay,
resolution is just like planning. It's making solutions, but you put them down. Now, when we look at every time a year is a new season, a new year is a new season. There's nothing changes from your clothing, from what you do, but you come to end of a season and the beginning of another. And every time you have a season, you have plans for that season. As you get to another, it's good to have plans for the other season. Though it may be that what you planned for the previous season did achieve, and you are looking at now to start planning another before even you achieve the first one. But because of the dynamics of life now where we are today, things are changing. You find Corona came, you had plans, you did achieve, this happened, changes in school. For those people who have children in school, there was that marathon. You are closing after 2 weeks, you are opening after 2 weeks. So you find even the minds of the parents were not focused much because there was a lot of changes. Now we are coming, we are believing this is a year of calmness because it's like a lot have gone behind and we are coming to a new year. So I would encourage someone maybe, okay, usually you should plan your resolution by the previous year as you get to the year. And maybe you have done yours, others have not done. So let us look at how can we do it because it's just about planning. You have achievements you want to achieve, but you have plans. One thing I've noted on my research is that majority of people who do plan for their resolutions of the year, 50% they never even take off. Another percentage does it, and by the first month, they are like, no, this is not what I wanted. Maybe 9% will achieve the end of the year. So as you have resolutions from the beginning of the year, you can still come down when the year starts and see how things are, because there's a lot of dynamism nowadays.
So you just mentioned about 50% not taking off, 9% maintaining it to the end and achieving most of them, and others not going through with them. You just go through the first one and you see like, this one is too much for me. So my question comes in this way. It's a New Year's resolution. Must it be in a new year as we are starting a season, or can we change it in the process?
You know, there are those things we call traditions, which you usually find. New Year is a tradition for everyone to have resolution. You can plan, my New Year resolution is my birth. When does your birthday come? Then you plan, my year starts in May. Because my personal year starts in May.
True.
That's the start at the end of the year when everybody's ending the year. So that's why I'm saying let us not be static. Let's be dynamic. So that when things come, they don't find you in a corner. Let's say, for example, as we are talking about Corona, when Corona came, if you had plans even to travel to China, to travel to where, traveling was stopped.
True.
And those people who could not achieve anything without traveling, they went down.
True.
And now, that's why I'm saying dynamism is very important. If changes come, it's good to learn to be anticipative of changes. In case change comes, positive or negative, you can always be able to arise. Like in Japan, they usually say, crisis and opportunity. When a crisis arises, how can you look at it as see an opportunity in it and achieve on it? There are people who rose during Corona, and they cannot go down again. Because maybe they looked at now everybody's in the house, and they got into social media, and they did their sales on social media, and they rose up. But the others saw a closure that we cannot get anywhere. And that was the end of them. And they closed their companies. Someone was employing maybe 100 people, and now they can't employ one because of what happened. So it's good always, especially in resolutions, I will say change should be adaptive. You should be focused that in case of changes, positive and negative, you'll always pick up and go.
That's so true.
Yeah.
You've mentioned about, you said in Japan they say
crisis and opportunities is
brings opportunity. That is very true. Depending on how you're looking at it, you take it positively and you run by it. And given that, and we say change is the only thing that is never permanent.
Yeah.
Because now when you're saying us to be dynamic and you're used in doing things in a certain way, now changing it brings a different result from what you're expecting from the normal. So with that brings me a question. Do we have an age limit where we have to have resolution? Like from what age do we have resolution? Or should someone have the resolution?
Oh, no, life is personal. There are people who at a very young age you find they can plan, they tell this is what I purpose to do. And they will pursue it to the end. There are those in their middle age and they are just sitting. Let me tell you, and I'm not against that, but I usually say, look, people like watching movies, and those people who chew mirror and big G's, they are almost the same. Someone who chews, when you chew, your mind is not focused. You like, I'm here in this show, and my mind is in Kenyatta Avenue doing window shopping. Yeah, that's what happens with chewing. And such a person, surely they are not focused. They just study them, look at them and research. You'll find them, they don't usually have focus in what they want to do, and not easy to achieve. So what I'm saying is that it is about how you pick things and how you bring them out. Yes.
Oh, that is interesting. That one I didn't see it that way. Me, I always thought chewing is an exercise of the jaw.
In fact, we call it what? It is occupation spirit. It occupies your mind. It brings a lot of things at the same time in your mind. Because as you chew, you are disturbing the stability of your head.
Mind.
And someone will chew from the morning to evening. Can you imagine? Just look at such people and go and do your own research. Even those people like chewing even big G in church. Ask them at the end of the service. They can't remember even the scriptures.
Oh,
the mind was not there. So focus, but writing, there is writing and focusing towards achieving.
And those who are not focusing even without chewing, what will you say about them? Because you'll find that you've been distracted, but there's that spirit of distraction whereby maybe now that you've given an example of the sermon when you're in a church, and then you feel, or even in a meeting, you get distracted depending with what you left at home or how stressed you are. You'll find that by the end of the day, by the end of the meeting, if you're asked, oh, what is your opinion, Madam Blessing? And you're like, what are you talking about? Because your mind was not there. And again, you're not chewing. So what will you say about them?
You know, issues of having a problem at home and you're coming to work. If you combine the two, I tell you, you lose your opportunities. And you lose even the job. Because everybody has issues. You don't come to tell me because in your house there was a problem, you bring your problem in my office. I'll sack you because I also have mine. It's you to know how to manage. That's why we talk about emotions. You should learn how to manage your emotions and know how to lock that and come to this. Then you go and pick it up later. But if you are not able now to work on those emotions, you will lose it. Even those resolutions will be empty talk.
Okay, we don't want them to be empty talks. We want results.
Let me give you an example. You look at the government, sometimes they write a lot of planning, they do planning, they do a lot of paperwork for the year, for 5 years, for 20 years, like Vision 2030. Those things are in paperwork. Implementation is about the people who are there. There are those who wrote the document, but maybe they are not there at this moment. But those people who are coming in, do they have the time even to go and see what has been written? What's supposed to be achieved? What was the ideas of the people who wrote this document?
Being able to see the vision for them to be the vision bearers.
Yeah, to carry it out and bring it out, you must know. Yeah, the blueprint of what was being said. So if you just come in and you say that we are here, we are going to achieve. You start reading newspapers and at the end of it you can tell, what were you doing? You had an office. What did you do? You don't know. So it's about the focus. That's why I brought the issue of mirror, because I usually say that they don't focus. We are talking about focusing to achieve, because there's writing and achieving. Yes.
There is writing and achieving.
Yes, yeah.
So that actually now that was why I was coming to understanding the importance of noting them down.
Yeah.
And the importance of implementing
Yeah.
for it to come to pass. What are the importance?
One thing about journaling in anything that you do, apart from resolution, that has to be written and maybe kept. But even when you are doing something, journaling causes you to focus. Even if, let's say you are going through something and you sit down and write it down. When you write something down, you focus on it. You see? So when you are writing your resolution, one thing, you must be objective and you must be purposeful. And you must be strategic. What is strategy? Okay, let's say for me, for this year, I'm planning maybe to open a branch in Mombasa, a branch in Kisumu. I have thought about it. I feel it in my heart. Do I have the money? Do I have the person to be on the ground? Have I checked there's a house there? So you may start saying that I'm opening a branch in Mombasa. You don't remember Mombasa, even you have never been to Mombasa, and you start talking about, you write it down and keep it. Now you have to arise. Be strategic.
And move to Mombasa.
Move to be able to implement it. Yeah.
Nice. That one is a good one for you to move and make it work.
Yeah.
Given said that when you're moving and making it work, now you've encouraged us on doing it on writing. Writing, I was listening to someone the other day, and the person holding the sermon said, when you're writing a prayer request, make sure you have 2 sets. The one that you're going to bring on the altar for it to be prayed upon, and the one you keep for you to remind yourself of what you've written. Then I sat to myself and I wondered, I had written a prayer request and I can't remember what I had written.
You didn't keep a copy.
I didn't keep a copy. I didn't keep a copy. And I think even at that time, I did not listen to the instruction. A lot of people actually, I came to realize it, because when we were listening to that, it was actually a recap of an event that you had gone to. So it being a recap, and those people that we were around with, I asked them. They also don't remember what they wrote. And now I'm seeing, now that you're saying that it is important to journal it, now I'm seeing the importance of it, because it has reminded me about that sermon. Because once you write it, you'll be able to, a place of reference. I had written A, I have achieved it. I have written B, I have done halfway, and I'm achieving it by this time. That is how you now go back to it. And I'm seeing, I think I'll adapt that. Not think, I will adapt that. It's a good one.
Yeah. Let me, for example, those like us who preach, you may have a very good message. You know, when you are speaking, sometimes the Holy Ghost is speaking.
True.
Maybe you did not record. Nobody's writing the notes for you.
Sure.
And the notes that you wrote in your book is not what you say, because now the Spirit of God will take over and speak to the people, minister to them.
True.
A word of God is a sword that cuts both sides. You also need to hear that.
True.
Maybe you did not understand everything that you said. So you need also to sit down, and it will bless me more than you. And I spoke it. Yeah.
The power of revisiting what you have written.
Yes.
We've said there is no age and time of setting about the New Year's resolution. Is there a difference when it comes to aging? We've said it doesn't have age, but do you have age? Okay, what do I mean? When a young person resolution and an older person resolution, do you have differences when it, or is it individualized based? How do we go about them?
It is individual, because you could be having a big vision when you are young, and there's someone who realizes themselves when they are late. They have been sleeping. Then it comes out, they wake up at 40, they wake up at 50. And that's when they need now to plan, achieve, and implement.
True.
So it is good to learn early. Learn early, you start planning, even keep those books. You'll be looking, hey, last year I planned to do this. Did I achieve? Why did I fail? What could I have done better than this? What could have made me achieve this which I did not achieve? Then you look at what have you written for this year. Are you just duplicating, or are you doing something new before achieving the other? Yeah. And maybe you have dropped the previous and you want to do something new. Then you can be able to refer. So along, as we have said, depends where you wake up, at what age you come to wake up. Maybe a young person like this is hearing this now, but maybe someone who is now 40 not hear this, and they just live. People who live just wake up in the evening, sleep, wake up. They don't have plans, they don't have strategies, and that's where they are.
On that note of sleeping and waking up to identify yourself, let's take a short break. Viewers, you're hearing from Pastor Paul Blessing the insight that she's having about the resolution, and when you wake up, that is the time you realize what you have missed out and how you can now implement. When you realize yourself and when you start making changes. Pastor Paul Blessing is with us, who is helping us to understand more about making resolution and following and adhering to the things that you have written. Pastor Paul, you're telling us on when you wake up, is it basically waking up from a slumberland? Is it the veil, when the veil falls down and now you can see and now you can purpose and focus for something?
Those are three different things. You can wake up. You have been waking up. You have been awake, but you were asleep. Now you realize you need to wake up. Then wake up. That veil may be removed, and you still don't make any move. So that is why it's good to, when you wake up, that time you have found that you have woken up. That's why we are saying that you cannot talk about age. You could be young and strategic, and you could be old without plans. And nothing you can achieve without a plan. You must plan to be able to achieve. You have to identify your values and objectives so that you may work towards them to achieve your goals strategically. Otherwise, you just live like a chicken, as we say. You wake up, you go to sleep, you don't have plans. You cannot say, I'm going to achieve this. This year I want to achieve this. You just write, and some people have written and they have put them in the drawer. They can't even remember what they wrote.
True.
Others wrote and gave someone to keep. They didn't even have a copy. If they wake up at night, I want to pray for my goals and talk to God about my goals and my resolutions. You don't remember what you said. You should have them in your mind. They should run in your mind. Like we usually say that when you wake up in the morning, speak the things that you want to become. Learn to speak them every day. As you speak them, you create. Because we say that words are instruments of creation.
True.
So if you write a book, it's good to journal. When you journal, it's very important you remember. But you may journal and throw in the cup, in your drawers or wherever you keep them. But if you keep on speaking them, as you speak them every day.
As you speak, you become.
You speak, you become. You create. God said, let there be, and there was. And he saw it was good. And that's what we are. We are gods.
True.
So you create it because you want it to come to pass. Maybe you don't even have money to achieve what you want. But as you speak it, you are created. All that, the strategies and whatever needs to help you to achieve what you want, they are hearing and coming to help you to achieve. But you can have it in your mind, inside the mind, closed in your mind, closed in a book. You're not getting anywhere. Yeah, you cannot achieve until you plan and you be purposeful to do it.
Be purposeful to do it, and journaling it.
Journal,
so once you journal, how often should one revisit? Is it every day? Is it every week? Is it just when you've remembered, oh, I had written something? How often should you revisit?
It depends on how passionate you are about it. Because you purpose do something you are passionate about.
True.
You cannot tell me that something you are passionate about and you remember after 1 week. What were you doing? What were you doing? Because it's about self. Now you are come to your wake-up call. You are come out of building people's empires. You want to build your own empire. Yeah, your own empire. That's where you get now. You want to be purposeful. You want to achieve those goals. You become strategic. How do you become strategic? Every day you wake up. As you tell God, bless my day, go out with me, tell him about those goals. You can speak them daily. Yeah. The more you create them, the more they come into being.
True.
Yeah.
True. Well, that is so impactful and so insightful that you should revisit your goals every day and you should speak them. Not only revisit them, but also speak them, because you're speaking life to them.
When it comes into your tongue, you don't need to go look at the book. They are in you. They came from you. You created them. You spoke them. So you journal just for keeping, but they are from you. Then you speak them every day. Tell God about them. Yeah.
You're speaking life into it when you're telling God about them.
Yeah.
Given that, and you're saying journaling them, and now, when is the turning point of all this? I've written, I've talked, maybe not coming to pass, some coming to pass. So amongst all this, when is the turning point?
You know, in every resolution, there are things that you need to achieve. There could be finances involved. When you are planning this, maybe you have savings, or you are planning, I'm starting to my savings. From this time, I'll try to start saving towards this project. I want anything that comes towards me, I'll do this towards this project. So even when God wants to bless you to do something, you should also see your effort in what you are doing. Let me give you an example. I thought about resigning from my job. And I started praying about it. I told God, I am making a very hard decision in life, but I want you to work with me. I believe in you, because what I want to achieve, I won't achieve it in employment. What I think you want me to be, I won't achieve it in employment.
True.
But it's not easy to walk out and leave a salary not doing what you're going to do.
Next.
And I prayed about it, and I'll speak it every day. I start telling people, I'm going to resign. But the most important thing is my son. When I told him, he suggested, you have been late. What have you been doing there? Do you even achieve your purpose of working? When I look at what you get and what you get and the time you spend there, I think you are late. You just made the right. That's what a turning point for me, because it was like, and what have you been doing in that place?
True.
And that decision, when you say that, it became more stronger in me, because I had backing. So
are you trying to say that you need someone to ignite your turning point?
You should have people around you in anything that you do. Network is very important. The people around you, what do they say? But avoid negative people.
True.
People who will tell you, no, that one you can't do. Oh, that you don't try. Like majority will tell you can't resign. They even said she needs counseling. I told them, no, you are late for counseling. Maybe you come for it from me. Because I had prayed about it and I have backing from a close person who means a lot to me. The others will just be noisemakers. So you need to know who talks to you. Are they positive? Because him, he wants the best for me. He will tell you, Mom, no, think about it. But even when he's saying you are late, it's surely I'm late. Yeah. And I came out of it with nothing, but with a lot of confidence.
True.
How did I achieve this? That's how I'm telling you the goals that you have. I have made a decision, I'm resigning. I don't have a salary. I didn't have savings anywhere. But I had a lot of confidence. Let me tell you what happened. God prepares people now to help you to achieve. It's like people are prepared like a bridge to you walk through them.
You walk through.
I remember the following day I went in a place because I had started doing some supplies still while I was working. So I went to a certain organization and they usually have aircrafts, but they do also normal supplies. That person didn't know me. That's why when people say that you must have someone to hold your hand, it is wrong. That person, they looked at me and said, Madam, when I look at you, doesn't look like you can do envelopes and toners. I think you should do aircraft spare parts. And I said, hallelujah. He's the person who understands me. So God is preparing people to talk, they don't know you, just to show you that there's somewhere he wants to take you. And I said, yes, I can do.
And you
This is something with a lot of money. You have money? Yes, I have a lot of money. Can you put in writing and say what you have told me? I wrote a letter. I have good English. A very good letter to convince that I'm able to do haircraft spare parts. I don't have even fare to come to.
Self-confidence and knowing
self-confidence. Confidence is wealth. Yes.
Yeah.
When you go somewhere, present yourself like a CEO. Yeah. Not someone who left designed yesterday doesn't know where they are going. I could have, I resigned. I didn't even know how to pay my rent. They start pitying you instead of lifting you. I tell you from there, my life changed.
Wow,
yes.
That is so inspiring. When someone sees the potential in you, actually, it's the people around us, even strangers, God that put into them the correct words or the correct doings, that they say something that changes your life, changes your idea and perspective of everything.
Makes you even focus more.
True, very true.
But when you find those who tell you how it is not possible, how their hand tried and they failed, don't listen.
Yeah, that is them. This is you. And experience is the best teacher. And what I've come to learn is it is through your own mistake that you learn and you change yourself. Because now you will know, this one, I did it in this formula, it didn't work. But still I have faith in it, so I'll use a different formula.
In fact, failure is a teacher.
Exactly. True.
The best, of course.
True. The best, actually. That is so true.
Yeah.
Given said that, a lot of people ask, what is the difference between goals and resolution? Could you help us understand if there is a difference or a similarity? Is it the same thing?
There's similarity, but goals are very long term. Because a resolution will be a time frame. Maybe you could have a solution for this quarter, another quarter, a whole year. But goals is something that is you. Goals carries your purpose, who you are. It carries your abilities and all that you are. Like we usually say that there's a difference between job and work. Work is when you do what God meant you to be. It's when you are at work. But a job is when you are being paid a salary to help someone else to achieve their goals.
Come again? What is work and what is job? I thought you were doing the same thing. No. I'm working. So while I'm going in the morning, I'm going to work. What is your job? I'm working in GBS.
Yes. That is a job.
Yes, and I'm working. That is my work.
Maybe your work could be achieved by the institution of GBS by the fact that you were called to help people to understand themselves, like what we are doing here. And by this, you are achieving your goal by God, your purpose by God, to touch a life. True. You are already at work. Okay? But you could be here as a job. You came to look for money, a salary, and to be able to pay your rent and do all that. Let me tell you,
You'll miss it.
nobody will ever achieve anything with a salary.
You'll miss it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Until you get to know your work. Let me give a very good example of someone who did a work and a job at the same time. I refer you to Mordecai in the Bible. Mordecai on the gate, he was a gate man who was being paid salary. But himself, he understood himself, he was at work for the kingdom of God. So when it was during work, he could not bow to Haman because that was the level of work, of job and the salary, to bow to Haman as the vice president. But he understood who he is, and his work was to be there to rescue Jews. And that is where the position that he took. He helped that girl to come, and with a lot of strategy, he was very purposeful. He told her, never reveal who you are. So his work was to do that and achieve the rescue Jews and come to take his position.
Wow.
But that was the position where he was to achieve it. So even when you are at work, at job, realize your work there. And that is what is your goal. Those are 5 different topics, sorry. I'm diverting you.
It is so insightful and so interesting how we understand your job and your work. I think I would assume that most of us are in that category, me included, of saying where I'm working, that is my job, and not understanding maybe per se the difference in the perspective that you have brought out, knowing job is what you're paid for and work is what you're created for.
Yes.
Wow.
Let me give you a very good example. There's a time when I was a civil servant, I was posted at police headquarters as a civil servant. And my job was a civil servant. In fact, I would make tea and serve my boss. But God had given me an assignment. That time we were about to do the constitution of the country. So my assignment, and where I was near police, there was a place where I could go and pour myself before God. After giving out, serving the tea, I'll walk out and go a place. I take 2 hours to pray for the constitution of the country. And my duty was not yes or no, but to ensure no bloodshed. Go and do a research. No country achieved a constitution without bloodshed. Kenya, we got it on a free ground. So I was a civil servant making tea, but I knew my assignment. So I will always finish my job, I sneak to go to a church somewhere, lie on the floor, pray for 2 hours, achieve. When they concluded, I celebrated. I've achieved. But in my heart, nobody knows. You see? So that was my work. But I was making tea.
That is so interesting.
So you understand what are you doing here?
I can see that perspective. In as much as you're burning so much with your words, allow me to use that English.
Yeah.
It's so true. A lot of us don't understand that. And it's so wise that the timing of those words are coming at this particular time that you're talking about New Year's resolution. I think it is going to help us to see it in a different perspective while you're planning and also when you're purposing to do or to go about the New Year's resolution. When we are talking about goals and resolution that you brought about now, the job and the work, it being similar, how strategic should one be? And differentiating the two on planning.
Let me tell you, the most strategic person, not a person, is God. God is very strategic.
True.
I want you to pick one case in the Bible and show you how job it can be applied in that particular one. Let's say the issue of Ruth and Naomi. Naomi lives with his sons and the husband, and they goes to where Ruth comes from in Moab. And we are going because of famine. But this was a strategy by God, because Ruth was supposed to come and bring the root of Jesus. But where was she? So a whole family was destroyed there to pick Ruth. and bring her home. Sometimes you look at things as they happen, like even she said she came back a bitter woman. But God is very strategic. They go there and they live there, they die, they leave one of them, she comes with Ruth. Then you come Ruth, she goes to collect barley or whatever it is and finds Boaz. Then when you look at the generation of Judah, because of incest, the 10th generation was almost coming to an end. And the generation of incest on the side of the Moabs, because of Lot, was also coming to an end. And this is the route that Jesus is coming to come through, where you people, you can't see. All this is strategy by God. But there are people assigned as, this is what we call work. So, Naomi goes with all the family, loses sons and husband, comes with Ruth only, to come to achieve God's purpose. Can you see it?
That is work. In a very harsh way.
There will be distractions along the way. Yes.
But now understanding it, it's so easy telling it as a story from the Bible. But when it happens to
personal
reality,
life,
when it comes to you personal,
let me tell you what you need to understand
someone
today.
that personal, it is painful.
Yeah. Let me tell you, everybody is an idea by God.
True.
It doesn't matter your father and mother, they have their good time and you came along. It was, you are a purpose by God. You are an idea of God. And he brought you for a purpose. And where you are supposed to go, if it was to be achieved by coming to work in GBS, you will come here for a job, but you will achieve God's purpose. What will cause us to achieve these goals and purpose? What is it? Because even when you go to school, you know where you will apply geography and physics. But you attain some intelligence and communication to be able to achieve and display your abilities and your goals that God calls you to become. That's where your purpose is, and the reason why you were born. Some people die without knowing their purpose. That's we are told that the richest ground is the graveyard. Because books were not written, people did not sing, people did not open their companies. Someone said, someone was just about to die, and all his abilities and all what he could have done, they were surrounding and rebuking him. Why did you waste us? We were available to you. But you did not realize who you are. The first thing this year of resolution as we do them, the most important thing is to be prayerful. Start your year with fellowship with God, so that you get that focus.
Start your year for you to get the focus and with your relationship with God.
Yeah.
Easier said than done in this way. I'm a Christian. I know how to pray, but I'm not prayerful.
Yeah.
There is praying and being prayerful. 2, I'm not a Christian, so I'm not prayerful. How are you going to help me?
Let me tell you, everybody has a being that they believe in. Yeah. God prays for what you pray to. And commit yourself to it. But the real God is the one who answers prayers. You know, God looks at our ignorance and lack of knowledge. But you could be doing something and God will see this art is for me. Only that this person has not actually found the truth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That truth to find is another issue. But God does not look at actions. He looks at motives.
And the heart.
And the heart. Yeah. Because there's someone who will bow down when their heart is standing up.
True. True. And
they are making a lot of noise and even fasting, but you are fasting and God is like, and why are you doing it even? I've not even seen it.
You are denying yourself.
You go to Isaiah 58, understand, or you fast. When you fast, make sure someone else eats from you. Don't fast like you are saving. What you could have eaten, who is eating it? Are you grudging with people? Are you making peace around you? What are you doing in that fasting? So you don't just fast like you are rebuking people. There's a certain prayer center, I will not mention it because we are online, but we are rebuked because people will go. You go fast and you are fasting for people to die. You find someone praying somewhere. Ninawafunga naweka kwa gunia nawatuma ushago. Seriously. Why waste yourself? Go before God, tell him something that has value. Yeah, that is witchcraft, of course. Depends on the training who train them. You know, we have a lot of trainers, yeah.
You've just called it witchcraft on a very plain language. But anyway, we always learn that the grace is sufficient, because amidst that, we learn that God, I've come to understand that God, even if you say, like you've said, you're binding that person, you're kuwafunga. You might say it because they have done it something wrong to you. That's but right. God sees you, you're speaking out of bitterness, you're speaking out of anger, and will shield the person that you're praying against from what? Because even me, if you're praying against me, I'll also pray for myself, because I'll be binding whatever arrow of the enemy that is being sent to me.
But those who don't pray, you see.
Yeah, very true. For those who don't pray, for those who don't have the communication or the time to commune with God, to understand themselves and the heart of God.
People are very wicked. People are very wicked without the fear of God. The other day I was talking about the fear of God, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Because sometimes you find you may have wisdom. Wisdom is to know what to do, but no understanding is how to apply it. But what are you applying? You don't have acquired knowledge. You must acquire that knowledge. That's why some people do things in a foolish way, because they just saw something doing it and they rise and do it. But is it the will of God? When you have the fear of God in your heart, even if you don't understand what you are doing, God will correct you and will lead you to the right place. True. Yes,
they say the fear of God is the beginning of
wisdom. Yeah.
And we are told we fall because we perish because of lack of knowledge. So does that mean that when you are talking to God and asking him to reveal the knowledge that he has for us, or the purpose he has for us, how now do we hear? And now writing the resolution in the perspective of now praying for the resolution, what you're asking for, how now do you know that this that I'm asking for is not the time for it? This is what I should be asking for instead of this. How do you
let me go straight to prayer. What is prayer? Prayer is communicating with God. And prayer is not a myth, not a mystery sounding very complicated. It's like talking to your father. You know, when you look at it as talking to a father who loves you, you'll present all what you want. And God knows what you need and what you want. So he will enable you in his own timing. You may be asking for something and God knows you don't need it this time. He will not allow you to have it at that time when you don't need that thing. But he has seen that you desire. So he will bring it to pass at the right time. That's what the Bible says, in his own time he makes things beautiful. You see? So what happens is that it is you now, take those goals, pray and tell God, this is what I desire to do. I bring them before you. May you show me your mercy. Enable me to go through it. Help me to understand what I should do. Then be objective. And let this be within your values. Everybody has values in life. Within your values. Yeah. So that you don't ask for things that are even, you know, whatever values you have comes from your spirit. And your spirit is the one which is connected to God. So you not ask for things which are out of your way. You ask for what is within you. Your values is what brings your abilities, your goals, and your achievements. So when you are in that now, all the issue of timelines, when should we have this? When should we have this? So when you write the goals and you pray and tell God to help you, God hears our prayers. He has a listening ear. True. But he knows what is best for us at what time. Then you just watch. The other thing is the people around that you need. That these people we call burden bearers. Those who will help you to achieve what you need to do. Yes. There are people who must help you, maybe financially or whatever it is. Yes, yes.
Burden bearers, and also we call them the destiny helpers that
yeah.
help us to achieve what you are purposed for. That is so insightful, learning so much from you, but time is really flying. And we have come to the end of the show, but I have learned a lot. My take home is the difference between job and work. That is a very good take home for me.
Yeah.
Viewers, I hope you've learned a lot, like I have learned the importance of resolution, why we should have them, the difference between resolutions and goals, why we should purpose to achieve them, and that our goals comes from our values, what we value or what we are built of in terms of character. It's what brings out our value and what we are made of for you to be able to have the right resolution. We have come to the end of our show, but we can continue with this discussion across all our social media networks. That's GBS TV Africa, our SMS.